Another reaction to BTS. This time I'm gonna be reacting to BTS Paved the Way, and why it's too hard for like certain people, like just certain fan base to accept that. But let's get into it. It's gonna be a long one, and 23 minutes. Let's get into it. They need to accept the fact that BTS had an impact on that. Honestly, that's what I can say by what I've seen, and like stuff that they have done. I feel like they have, in a way. Like they might not want to give them credit for everything, but at least give them a little bit of what they deserve. But let's get into it and see what they say.
BTS paved the way for K-pop. It is a fact, but also a controversial thing to say. So how is it that there is so much disagreement? First of all, I think we all need to make sure we're talking about the same thing first. Paving the way simply means making it easier for something to happen or someone to do something. Paving the way doesn't mean inventing something. You are not building the road from scratch. You're just paving a road which is very hard to walk through, making it easier for others to walk behind you. So when we say BTS paved the way, we don't mean that BTS invented K-pop or entered the global music market first. We just mean that BTS made it easier for K-pop acts to enter the global music market. K-pop was a growing interest before BTS, but it was still a very niche thing. Now, however, K-pop is part of conversations about pop culture because BTS are mainstream. It was only after BTS entered the Billboard charts when Billboard created charts only for K-pop. It was only after BTS started winning Western award shows when Western award shows created K-pop categories. It was only after BTS won their first American award for top social artist when K-pop acts opened Twitter accounts because BTS were nominated for their Twitter.
That was just a little do not jump to the gun, just because of the title, you know, because people we say like they paved the way. They don't mean like fully, they invest like they say like they're not saying like they invented it or like do anything. They just made it easier for artists, who are in like the K-pop genre for this stuff to be able to be seen easily or like that attention being brought to K-pop in the first place, for those artists to be listened from different countries. That's what they're pretty much saying. They're not saying like, oh, BTS, just invented K-pop and like, everybody should thank them. No, they're just saying like they didn't create it, but they made it to what it is known now. Let's get into it.
Twitter engagement. It was only after BTS debuted in American television when K-pop acts started being invited to American television. It was only after BTS started getting Grammy nominations when K-pop acts started submitting their songs to the Grammys. It was only after BTS's fandom requested to have their albums on stores like Target when K-pop started selling their albums in stores like Target. It was only after BTS became the biggest group in the world when K-pop groups had the opportunity to sign with American labels. BTS paved the way because without them, K-pop would have remained a niche interest and wouldn't have the global platform they have today thanks to BTS. So what are the arguments against the phrase BTS paved the way? First is that the second generation paved the way. For more context, we need to understand that K-pop has different generations. The first generation came around the 1990s and is composed of artists like So Taiji, who basically invented K-pop by introducing American music styles and music equipment to South Korea. And entertainment agencies were inspired by the Japanese idol industry to create the K-pop idol training system, in which singers
Also, it just goes like vice, like BTS paved the way for K-pop to be known in that Western area, but somebody paved the way for them to be able to be in K-pop, if you guys know what I mean. Like that's why it's taking us back, and then it just keeps growing, right? Like one person or like this group of people do something, to make it a better thing, and then when those artists get inspired and like they become better at it, they just pave another way, for something to happen, and it just benefit K-pop at the end of the day. So let's not get that twisted, you know. Before K-pop, somebody else did it, and it became K-pop, and then from there, artists started doing their own thing, and like their attention was brought from it. But I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say.
trained for years to debut in a group. The second generation started around the early 2000s, and it was when K-pop became known as a niche interest in countries outside of South Korea. The third generation is K-pop slowly entering the global music market. BTS is part of this generation. The fourth generation starts in 2017, after BTS became the most popular group in the world. So the argument is that without the first and second generation of K-pop, BTS wouldn't even exist and be as popular as they are today. However, absolutely no one is denying that these big first and second generation K-pop acts helped BTS become a group because the members were part of the idol training system, and without it, they wouldn't even have met. But it was not because of the K-pop system that BTS became global artists. If this was the case, other bigger groups at the time with way more resources should have become global instead of them. BTS.
Yeah, that's this person is doing a great job of saying those information that I'm also missing out. Like all I'm saying is like a person comes does this, and then the next person comes and do something else to benefit the genre. You know, like the first generation did something, and that inspired the next second generation to do something, and they keep like making it better, and then it just keeps growing, right? And nobody's taking the credit away from them. It's just like they just did something to add on top of everything that's already built on. It's just like brick by brick. Like each generation brings something to the table. It's not for them to just eat off what the past generation did. So
became global artists because they and their almost bankrupt label were rejected opportunities in the K-pop industry, and they were forced to find their own out-of-the-norm creative ways to promote themselves. The first and second generation helped BTS exist as a group, but they didn't pave the way because they didn't make it easier for BTS or anyone else in K-pop to enter the Western music market. They actually made it more difficult. This is why all the previous K-pop groups who attempted to enter the Western music market failed, and after their failures, no other K-pop group tried to enter too, including BTS. BTS accidentally entered the Western music market because their music and personalities became popular on Twitter and YouTube, a way of promotion that K-pop acts didn't seriously consider before. This should be enough proof that the second generation of K-pop didn't pave the way. They actually destroyed the way because no one dared to walk through that road again. Now, thanks to BTS, the way is paved, and K-pop groups have multiple opportunities to promote in the US. The second argument against is that Psy paved the way because Gangnam Style was a global hit, so he made K-pop be known globally. However, that is not paving the way. Gangnam Style was huge, but his musical career didn't see much growth in the Western and global music industry. He was invited to American award shows, morning shows, late night shows, and he even had collaborations with Western artists. So he was the first in doing many things, but he didn't make it easier for other K-pop acts to debut in America. The general public knew Gangnam Style, but many didn't even know his name or the country he was from. Psy said, there were even people who thought my name was Gangnam Style. Some people overseas would say, hi Gangnam Style. Some did get to know about K-pop because of him, but since his future singles decreased in popularity amongst the general public, he stopped being invited to all of these shows. He was considered a one-hit wonder and a funny phenomenon that will disappear after some time, and that was what happened. And I know that racism and xenophobia played a big role in his downfall, so I don't think we should blame him at all. It's not that Psy didn't want to pave the way for others, it's that Psy couldn't pave the way. But K-pop fans can be.
is this is this about how do you pave the way? Psy made a name for himself, and like his song was global. Okay, like he brought a lot of attention, but there's just an impact you need from an artist for them to able to claim that they paved the way. Like LeBron can say he paved the way into the NBA. To go from high school to the NBA. You can say that because this guy was like the way he started as a teenager, like in his 18s and stuff. He paved the way. Like he made it easier, and put down the strictness of high school student going from high school straight into NBA. You know, and he paved the way because he did that, right? He made an impact. Like it's an impact. It's gonna be there forever, right? Psy, he did an amazing job. That song was amazing. Everybody heard it all over the world, you know. But did it really pave the way for the K-pop and like the Korean artists? No, I don't think so. Because it didn't stick to the people. It just stuck to them as a normal song. They didn't even care who sang it. You know. So yeah, with the Psy agreement, like no, I wouldn't agree with that. But he did bring some spotlight to it. We gotta give credit where it's due, but there's a difference of paving the way and giving spotlight or bringing a little shining or like a little attention to that genre. Like he might have done that because the song was global, but that's the most that we can give the credit to.
Being mad about his situation while also not inventing a story of success and paving the way, discrediting BTS, the actual ones who paved the way, especially when BTS in 2017 also faced similar hardships and were also considered a weird phenomenon that will disappear after some time. The difference is that they kept growing because they were actually gaining fans, and these fans helped BTS win awards, perform on TV, sell their albums in American stores, and sell out stadiums. This made K-pop be known by the general public and actually be part of the American music industry, not just a funny guest. So Psy is the closer BTS can get of a Korean senior, but he didn't really experience BTS's level of popularity as artist, and he doesn't really know what it's like to help your country's music industry be part of pop culture conversations. BTS had to and did figure out by themselves how to stay in the worldwide music industry, and that's how they paved the way for others. They made the way easier to walk through, and they can give advice on how to do it, since it's a road they paved by themselves. The third argument against is that BTS only paved the way for the American music market, and that we shouldn't prioritize their American achievements when other countries exist. I think this argument comes from people with little knowledge in the music industry. Whether we like it or not, the American music industry is the biggest music market in the world. Its value is more than 2 times bigger than Japan's, the second biggest music market. And not only that, but unlike other countries, America...
Hey, let's be for real here. Where is the mainstream artists come from? Like, apart from BTS, okay? Like, other artists, where do they come from? Every artist that is from a different country is always want to go to America. They have all the labels over there. The best level, Death Jam, wherever you want to call them. That's the only label that I know and I've heard of that is well known. Like everything is just in America. Everything, not even music. Everything about it, like currency, and other countries, China and everything. Like they have those, the main two countries that I can come in my head, and I'm like, okay, they have better, currency and like all that stuff. America is the spot where everything goes on. That's what is like it's crazy. So America is the main market. Let's just say that that's the main market, America. You know, or it's crazy to explain, but like that's where everything goes on. If you want to make it as an artist, go to America.
America creates a chain reaction. The biggest artists in the United States have high chances to also be big in other countries, including Japan and the other big markets. But the biggest artists in Japan are big in Japan only. Of course, there are a few exceptions, but even those exceptions don't change the fact that you won't listen to the biggest artists from Japan, Germany, and France in the US, in Latin America, or in every Asian country. The only music market that can do this is the one of the United States. This is why Billboard has two global charts, a global chart which includes the US and other global chart which excludes the US, because the United States carries the global music industry numbers. The funny thing is that BTS charts well in both the global charts including the US and the global charts excluding the US. This is why BTS paved the way not only for the American music market, but also for the global music market. BTS is huge in all of these countries, not just South Korea and the United States. They are the biggest artists, not group artists. iTunes, in Japan's Spotify. They sold out Wembley Stadium twice in the UK. They are the only Korean act to have #1 albums in Germany. They are the only Korean group to sell out Stade de France. And this also happens in other countries with smaller music markets. It was only after BTS performed in Saudi Arabia when K-pop groups decided to also perform in Saudi Arabia. BTS paved the way for K-pop to have some visibility in every country of the world. Thanks to them, K-pop has grown everywhere, and there are now K-pop festivals around the world, and K-pop albums are more easily distributed everywhere.
We're truly honored to be on this stage with such amazing, tremendous artists.
Before, that's what I was about to say. Like, each group just paved their own way, right? That's what I was about to say. Like, each group does their own thing to pave their own way to like benefit as a group, you know. But there's just a lot of stuff that BTS has done that isn't just about music, you know. They have gone globally to talk to the UN, wherever that meeting was, you know. They appeared everywhere, and it's the music represent everything that, you know, they're needed for. Like, the music stick to, you know, other people, and like it's known as a good music, you know. It's not just, oh, BTS, you know, music group, oh, that's all. Like, they're everywhere, you know. They paved the way into the NBA. Like, come on, Suga is an ambassador for that, you know. They're just all over the place. Like, come on, like, what else do you guys want to see, you know? And paving a way isn't like we're discrediting everybody else, you know. We're giving them every credit because they did that, you know. They brought the K-pop into, you know, the main market. No, that isn't what we're saying. We're just saying give them credit for that, you know. If it wasn't for that, it wouldn't have been easy even now, you know, for a K-pop artist to be able to chart on the, you know, global Billboard and everything, you know. And paved the way is like they made a mark. That's what we're trying to say. Like, they made a mark, you know. Like Psy with his Gangnam Style, like, it was just a song. Like, he didn't make a mark, you know, to like bring K-pop and like the Korean industry into, you know, the spotlight, the main spotlight. You know what I mean? Like, it had it a little bit, but then, you know, once the song started, you know, going down, you know, like the popularity just started whoop, going down. That's it. You know, nobody's gonna remember. Like, me personally, I know the song is popular, but I didn't know where he was from. All I did was just vibe to the song, right? But BTS just constantly have a hit every year. You know, they have something new. The collaborating with different charities. You know, like, they're just all over the place. It's not just only in Korea. They're doing everything outside Korea too. You know, that's what we're talking about. Damn, I just went on a run there.
Right over here.
Another argument against is that each group has paved their own way. And what people say about this is that K-pop idols worked very hard on passing all the auditions they had as part of the idol training system. And they practiced a lot to strengthen their talents and get their achievements. Again, that is not paving the way. Paving the way is making it easier for others to do something. So if I say XYZ group paved their own way, I'm saying XYZ group made it easier for themselves to be known in the global music industry. And this is just not true, because the road is already paved. So how did they make it easier for themselves and others? I could argue the complete opposite. I could say that BTS were the only ones who paved their own way, and this has to do with BTS's musical influences and hardships. If you really want to attribute BTS's path to someone else, attribute it to the artists that actually inspired their music, art, and movement, which is...
Also, I kind of feel like, obviously, this is just basically like, I'm not saying we should discredit BTS, but then when we say paved the way, we can't just generalize it to, like, you know, the K-pop industry. You can also say, like, you know, individually, you know, like RM, for instance. You know, when I saw the documentary, people were saying, oh, you're a rapper, you know, you shouldn't be putting on makeup and everything, you know. He paved the way to show other you know, rappers from, you know, Korean industry, like, hey, it's okay to put on makeup when you're performing, you know. You don't want to go out there looking like a bum, you know. He paved the way for that, you know, to show people, like, okay, it's alright as a rapper to put on makeup. Like, I'm a model, I put on makeup, you know. If it's something that I get too uncomfortable with, I'll let them know, and, you know, they might do something around it and I can work around it, you know. But that's what I mean by, like, I agree with what they say. Like each group paved their own way. Like they just each group made it easier for the next group to follow the same step. Obviously none of the group have succeeded yet to the level of BTS, but BTS has kind of like inspired them to start a group in that way. You know, like they might have not paved the way to like make it all the way to the main market, but they kind of like made it easier for the next kids to be inspired, to follow the same footstep. That's what I mean. Like each group paved their own way. It might have not be to be for the next person to come in and like do it. It can be like individually, like inspire each other, to like, if it's a rapper, like you want to inspire each other and like learn something from one another, right? So you kind of pave the way for the next person in your group, to like work better or something like that. That's what I mean in that context, okay? But
Black music, genres like hip hop and R&B, dance styles like breakdance, legendary rappers and singers who take pride in writing their own songs, who like talking about their personal struggles and experiences. This is not to say that K-pop hasn't also been inspired by black music.
it's man. It's
The most exciting event in sports. Anything else need to be said?
why so many ads?
K-pop may sound and look like black music, but the purpose of the genres got lost, with some exceptions of
I know what she means, but she didn't really have to put it that way. She could have just been like, yeah, I'm not even gonna go into it, but I hope you guys saw what I meant. Like, there's no. It's obviously it's mainly dominated by African American rappers, but it's not black music. Like we can claim it, but it's hip hop at the end of the day. Just name it hip hop. There's no need for you to say black. Like you can just call it hip hop. Like obviously like it's mainly dominated by African American, but we can take full credit for it, but we can also kind of leave it over there. Like okay, at least in my point of view, I feel like it's mainly dominated by African American, but it's not. Yeah, we shouldn't call it black, right? But let's go back.
Of course, K-pop groups are not inspired by these genres anymore. They don't pay for the samples they use, and they don't recognize the musicians who are actually composing their music. They just want the aesthetic. This is why there are many K-pop rappers wanting to look like Rihanna, but not even knowing what genre she does. On the other hand, BTS have been actual fans of hip-hop artists since they were kids, and they were actually inspired by them. This is why they've always paid homage to their influences, by mentioning their idols in songs, paying for the samples they use, and crediting them, showing their pictures in concerts, and even making documentaries featuring them and their voices. All of this while also prioritizing their own message, lyricism, and creative ways. BTS took the basics of these genres to express their own voices and create their own unique path in the music industry. This is how you pave your own way. BTS didn't have the platform, but they had the talent, determination, creativity, and real love for music. For a K-pop group to pave their own way, they will have to walk through a path they paved by themselves, and that's not what they're doing. They only take the opportunities that BTS gave them. Finally, the last argument against the idea that BTS paved the way is that they actually opened the door and closed it, or that they paved the way for themselves and then closed the road for everyone else. They say this is because BTS's popularity is so big that no matter how hard others try, K-pop acts will always be in the shadows of BTS. And I believe that can be true, but only when you treat the road as a way to instant BTS level of success. The road BTS paved is not a road to be BTS. It's a road to have visibility in the global music market, but you still need to work hard to create your own artistic identity. The road is paved, but you still need to run. In other words, K-pop now has visibility in the Western music industry because K-pop groups now get invited to American TV.
Also, it just goes to the success is just success. Like there's nothing to it. You know, your success, like somebody else can. Oh my god, I'm saying success so much that I'm starting. But BTS level of success is just off the roof. Let's just get that out of the way. But the fact that they already made the spotlight for you guys to be there is just more than enough. For you not to say they closed the door for you. Like, what else can they do? They brought the spotlight to brought the attention to you guys. Now it's your time to shine. Obviously you're not gonna shine as much as they do, but just shine in your own way. At the end of the day, you're just your own person. Like, you cannot be a different person and expect the same attention as the other person. Like, they have something unique about themselves that just separate them from you. You have something unique that can put you somewhere else from them, but the spotlight is still there. That's all you needed. Like, they might get the main attention, but you're there still receiving yours from theirs, right? The more they get attention, the more attention is brought to you, right? So if they're successful so much that you feel so intimidated about it, then you just have something else that is wrong with you, because you got the attention. They made it easier for you to get what you need, right? Being on the billboard, that's not easy, but they made it easy for you. So that's just another excuse. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, they, I don't see them closing the door there. It just doesn't make sense. They just always find ways to, like, like all this stuff. Like paving way. Like, you get so where it started from, and then now it's gonna end here them saying, "Oh, they paved the way, yet they still closed the door." No, they didn't do that at all. I don't think they did that. There's no way they can even do that in the first place. It's just you have to work to your best of ability, and if you want the same exact attention, you gotta work super hard. They went through a lot to be there, and they keep working hard. So if you want to be there, it's just you working hard, or even harder if you need to, right? But don't say they closed the door. Yeah, that's just
TV and award shows. They now have American tours and albums on Target shelves, but they still need to make themselves different from BTS, because the best at being BTS are BTS, and no matter how hard K-pop tries, they won't beat them. This is why the K-pop group's attempts of being recognized as the next BTS try so hard to have the exact same achievements BTS had. They want to get the exact same records, and again, that is treating the road as a way to BTS's level of popularity, not as an opportunity to have visibility in the global music market. But there are some who do understand what this new road BTS gave them is about.
They paved the way. You have to admit, they paved the way.
The majority of K-pop acts don't really say anything at all about BTS's popularity and the opportunities they gave them. It should be obvious, but they act like BTS doesn't exist, or like they are just another K-pop group. This has something to do with their labels controlling them and their image. However, there are some who do admit that BTS paved the way for them, and the ones who say it simply take the opportunity that BTS gave them, say thank you, and move on with their careers.
Right.
They know that competing against BTS is useless, so they do their best to use the global platform BTS gave them to showcase their talents. Starting with the founder of K-pop, Seo Taiji. 25 years had to pass for Seo Taiji to recognize another socially conscious Korean artist he could pass the torch to and proclaim as his successor. In 2017, Seo Taiji asked BTS to remake his classic Come Back Home and told them, "This is your generation now." Another popular group from the first generation is Shinhwa. When talking about Korean entertainment agencies and the difficulty in balancing promotions in Korea and in the US, a member from Shinhwa said,
물론 이런 모든 고정관념을 깨는 게 저는 BTS라고 봐요. 그래서 이제 저도 생각이 좀 바뀌고 있긴 한데 그래도 BTS한테 조금 이제 원하는 거. 그래도 한국 팬들을 가끔 생각을 해주셔서.
Rain, another singer from the first generation, appeared on
it just doesn't take, I don't understand how egoistic you can be. I learned that from Blue Lock, by the way. But just don't let your ego control you. Like, this artist, they just let their ego get in their way that they won't even admit something that is just right in front of them. Like, okay, BTS did all of this stuff, now they're on top. Just because you want to do the exact same thing and you're not successful doesn't mean it's right for you to do that. Okay, they paved the way, now it's easy for you. It's just for you to find that unique thing about yourself. There's just something unique about BTS that made them where they are. You need to find something unique about you, or as a group, that will separate you from BTS, but it's gonna put you on the same level. But people are just forgetting that, and it's easy now for us to make it there. Okay, we're just gonna do everything that they did, and then boom, they hit a wall or something like that, and you guys didn't even do like no. Just put your ego to the side. Appreciate the fact that they made it easier for you to make it that far, and just acknowledge it. That they made it easy for the industry of Korea, like the K-pop. Like, come on, it's not that hard. Just look at it. You know, I'm not that super hard fan of BTS, but by everything that I've seen, I can tell. Like they have impacted a lot of stuff. Globally, not just in Korea. Like, come on now.
A show where the interviewer said that the BTS promoted in the US thanks to Rain, but he responded, they became successful because they worked really hard on their own. It has nothing to do with me. Some K-pop fans say that the second generation paved the way, including groups like Wonder Girls. But this was what Sungmi from Wonder Girls said in 2019. In an interview she had for Billboard, a K-pop journalist tried to credit this group for the increased global popularity of K-pop. The interviewer said, it's partially because of the groundwork laid by you and Wonder Girls, but Sungmi responded, no, BTS. Yubin, another member from Wonder Girls, also said that since they also promoted in the American music industry, she feels more sympathy and pride for BTS because it was really difficult when Wonder Girls tried to enter that industry. After Beast, a second-generation group, was noticed in a foreign country, someone asked if it was because of K-pop, but a member of the group responded, no, thanks to BTS. K-pop singer Ailee also said, we K-pop artists are really proud of them because we know how hard it is to make it in the industry. The fact that they opened up these doors and cleared the way for us, it's a huge hope for us. Singling out BTS, Psy said BTS achieved Gangnam Style's unfulfilled dreams since they got permanence and persistence, as well as...
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, Psy made such a great song, right? It was fun to rock to, dance to, do the dancing challenge, but it didn't have that impact and it didn't stick at all, you know? It's just like that guy Solito. Like he made that song in 2016. What was it? Watch Me Name and whatever the song is. You guys know who I'm talking about. He made that song and then boom, he's gone. Right? He didn't pave the way for hip hop or whatever that genre, R&B. I don't know what genre it was with that song honestly, but he didn't pave the way because the song did not stick. It's just the same with every other artist, but if an artist does something so impactful that it stays there forever, and like every time this genre get mentioned, like the names comes up, that's what it's called pave the way, and like BTS did that, and some other people did it before them, so it's just that simple.
6 #1 songs in the US, while Psy's highest peak was number 2. Moving on to the third generation, the K-pop group KARD said that the reason why they are receiving such a pleasant response overseas is because their sunbase or seniors, BTS, have paved the way really well. One member also said, there's so many things we can learn from them, so we're looking towards them with respect. I feel that BTS has created a genre of their very own. Members from Astro, SF9, and 17 had also said that they have a lot to learn from BTS, referencing how BTS's achievements in the West helped them. The group Big Time said, back then there was no precedent like this. It was something that could only be imagined. BTS went to the Billboard Music Awards and achieved a great result. So we thought, wow, it's something that's actually possible. It seems to have made us work a bit harder. A member from G-Idol said, since BTS did help and introduce so many people to so many artists, we're influenced by them too. We would like to also strive for a similar path. A member from Monsta X said, they really paved the way for us and other K-pop acts. They made way for us to participate in the United States music industry. I don't know if we'd be able to do the things we're doing right now without them. Another member said, BTS paved the way, so I think it's been a little smoother for us. A member from Luna said, we got a lot of attention only because of our songbanims, BTS, who paved the way for K-pop.
BTS, yes. I would say they definitely opened up the gate for everybody in K-pop. I would say
they're legends. They paved the way. You have to admit, they paved the way. Anyway, mad respect to BTS.
진짜 사실 미국 쪽에는 저희가
like people take the paving the way in a different manner. It's like we're not saying BTS paved the way so you guys can be like, yes sir, BTS, yes sir, do whatever. No, we're just saying they paved the way, and like that's the respect that they deserve, and you can also pave a way for the K-pop, genre in your own way. You just have to work harder, and you're gonna be respected. Even without paving way, you're still gonna be respected because of what you do as your work. If it's important and like impactful, it's gonna be respected. But it just kind of sucks where you guys see some evidence or that yet you still try to like cut corners on every like it's just so stupid. We're not saying like obey BTS. They fucking paved the way for you, paid them the money because without them you wouldn't be there. Like give them a little bit revenue of like your money that you get from Billboard because they made it easy for you to get there. No, they're just saying just acknowledge that, which a lot of them are putting the ego or like pride to the side and like, okay, yeah, you guys did, thank you. Like it makes it that easier. But people just taking it in a wrong way, like, oh no, fuck them, they didn't do anything. Like, come on, man.
이렇게 K-팝이 인기가 있어질 거라고 생각을 못했어요. 근데 이렇게 이제 방탄소년단 선배님들께서 먼저 이렇게 열어주셔가지고 저희도 조금 더 알릴 수 있는 기회가 되지 않을까 싶어서 되게 감사하고 저희도 더 미국 활동을 해보고 싶다는 생각도 하게 됐어요.
Helena Kosinski, the vice president at Nielsen, an information and data measurement firm, said BTS opened the floodgates for K-pop and that BTS makes K-pop become a mainstream trend on the global market. South Korea's culture minister praised BTS for providing a way forward to K-pop. The vice president and chief operating officer of the Korea Creative Content Agency stated K-pop has skyrocketed since BTS's popularity surged, creating jobs not only for BTS and their team but other K-pop idols as well. And the then president of South Korea, Moon Jae-in, said that BTS are the pride and future of South Korean culture and named them as the
like literally look like they're just so impactful. Like the whole country knows them and like they're known outside of the country too, not just only because of the music and everything but what they do outside of it with UNICEF, with the UN. Like, bro, they're just all over, right? Those are the kind of stuff that stick. I don't know what else to tell you guys. You guys can bubble on to whatever you guys want now. Like
a special presidential envoy for future generations and culture. Also, when talking about innovative strategies to communicate directly with fans, he said BTS paved the way.
Ah, perfect. Perfect time for the ad to come on. I was surprised they didn't show any ads. Such a long time.
LP Smart Side Expert Finish for the beauty of finished.
So there are definitely a lot of K-pop acts who give BTS their credit, but like I said, there are many who don't. These are usually K-pop acts being pushed to be the next BTS. And what they like to do is mention goals like Billboard and Grammys, but only crediting second-generation groups as their inspiration, or even saying that they are the ones paving the way for others.
We had other artists that's been going overseas and doing what we're doing, so I guess we grew up watching them thinking, we wish to be the group that opens up the door for more
other foreign artists to
spread their music.
But still, the majority mention other groups that inspire their goals and don't address BTS at all, even when these goals were only achieved by BTS. So why is it so difficult to accept it?
방탄소년단, 방탄소년단, 방탄소년단,
방탄소년단.
방탄소년단, BTS,
방탄소년단. BTS. BTS.
I don't really like the "they are just jealous" response because it can be seen as a lazy response. But in this case, I really believe it all comes down to that one reason: jealousy. In the case of K-pop fans, the majority of the ones who deny that BTS paved the way were fans of the second generation of K-pop, who feel that saying that BTS paved the way for K-pop erases the second generation's achievements. And like I said, as hurtful as it is, BTS gave K-pop opportunities that the first and second generation couldn't. But the jealousy also comes from K-pop groups and labels who have been privileged their entire careers. No matter how much of a mess the group is, the groups on the big three are guaranteed to have a successful career. This is why the biggest groups groups before BTS were always from the big three. Nowadays, the groups from the big three have the same impact as they had before BTS's global popularity, but they are nothing in the global music market when compared to BTS. And this hurts the big three even more, because BTS and their label used to be nobodies compared to these agencies. Even until this day, the three biggest K-pop labels have a crazy amount of power in the Korean entertainment industry. They basically run most K-pop platforms, TV networks, and media in general, giving their K-pop groups the advantage of having more screen time, more positive reviews, more news coverage about them. This is why BTS, even with all the money they've contributed to their label and South Korea's economy, are still to this day being banned, lied about, and sabotaged by the industry. It's not just about money, it's about power. BTS and therefore HYBE have a lot of money, but they don't have the power. They don't have connections with Korean TV networks and media like these other Korean entertainment agencies do. BTS are the biggest group in the world, but the news cover their achievements the least amount of times they can because it doesn't benefit them.
정도 보도가 돼요. 그러면 우리가 흔히 알고 있는 소위 대형 기획사의 아이돌이 그것보다 사실은 못 미치는 어떤 활약을 보였을 때 미디어에 보도되는 양이나 그 커버되는 범위를 보시면 희한히 차이가 납니다. 재밌는 부분이고
실제 그렇구나.
실제로 그렇다는 것이 저도 이제 알게 됐어요. 그런 것들이 이미 팬들 사이에서는 잘 알려져 있고 이번 그래미 같은 경우 어떻게 들어가냐면 주요 부문에서 등극에 실패했다라고 한다든지 대체적으로 그런 경향이
아무리 마이너 장르라도 그래미 후보에 올랐다고 하지.
So K-pop labels and sometimes their K-pop groups refuse to accept that BTS paved the way because they couldn't, even when they had all the power and money from the start to do it. They are jealous that 7 nobodies from a nobody agency grew bigger than them, so they refuse to accept reality. This attitude from K-pop groups is also reflected in the way it's become harder for BTS to find friendly people in the industry.
근데 이제 그때부터 이제 친구도 없고 이러다 보니까
친구가 없어요.
네, 핸드폰이 기록 이 전화번호 목록을 찾아보면 연예인 친구가 10명이 안 돼요.
진짜?
대부분 사람들도 이제 저희 부담스럽다고 보통 친구로도 잘 안 놀아주더라고요.
진짜?
And you can show me all the K-pop groups on the big three interacting with BTS, but almost none of these compilations feature interactions with BTS after the real global massive success. It used to be fun when BTS were nobodies or just the biggest in K-pop, but now that BTS is the biggest group in the world, K-pop labels envy that, and they don't want their groups to interact or even mention them. This is why BTS's friends from the industry are mostly indie artists who are not trying to compete against BTS.
Yeah, man, like, I don't know, man. Jealousy and envy can be the only two words that describe that, as, you know, they said in this channel, you know, jealousy. But it doesn't have to come to that, you know. It just come to understand that, hey, they did what they did. We can do what we're gonna do too, you know, but let's just appreciate the fact that, you know, what we're gonna do is gonna be easier because they worked hard to, you know, make it easier for us, you know. It was hard for them, but they still worked their asses off, you know, to get where they are, and now it's easier for us to do that. So let's work hard to make something else that is harder for, you know, other people easier for them, you know. It's just like I told you, break on break. Like, you put one break, I put the other one, you know, like the first generation, the second, third, whatever you want to call it. Everybody did something little, you know, to bring that genre where it is now. And then right now it's BTS doing it. And then, you know, other groups are going to do it, you know, in their own ways, you know, like, it's just annoying, you know.
I really don't like the way it has become controversial to say that BTS paved the way, because if you really think about it, it's not that big of a deal. The phrase doesn't imply that BTS are better than every other K-pop group, and although I actually believe they are the best group ever, you can't think the complete opposite and still be able to agree with me, because the phrase only means that BTS gave opportunities for K-pop to be recognized globally. So learn a little from BTS and pay tribute to the ones who help you be where you are today. And if you don't want to mention them at all, that's also fine. Just don't be delusional and jealous. K-pop fans, as well as K-pop labels and groups, shouldn't be hurt by the fact that BTS paved the way. It's not an insult to your group. It's a sea full of opportunities to be seen and recognized in the worldwide platform BTS created.
Alright, man, I'm gonna say it my way. That's BTS paving the way. You know, there's nothing else to it, you know? And it's not like we're asking you like whenever, like I told you, it's not like we're asking the artist to like pay a little share of money when they make it to, you know, the other level where BTS made it easy for them to make it. No. And we're not saying, oh, whenever you make it, say, oh, BTS made us make it here. No, we're not saying that. We're just, you know, saying like they had an impact in that genre, you know. They brought a lot of attention to it, and it is where it is now because of them, you know. But that isn't the case anymore. Like, you know, whatever happens, happens, you know. BTS is probably doing their own thing right now. They don't care about anything. They're being blackballed, you know, in the K-pop industry because of the big three agencies, you know, and like because, like I told you guys, BTS is just a complete different group that, you know, isn't traditional with this music stuff. They just do their own stuff that isn't a traditional way of doing this. Like I already told you guys with the, you know, why the industry is terrified of BTS. Like I told you guys, they're just doing something untradition, you know, which people don't want to accept, you know. That's what just separates them from the other people. But I'm gonna blah blah on here and make this video long, but I don't want to, so I'm just gonna conclude it there. Anyway, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the reaction and made it this far. If you guys did, please don't forget to smash the subscribe button and hit the like button, and also let me know your thoughts down in the comment below. You know, I want to hear other people thought on some of the topic that they mentioned. I kind of agree a little bit on, you know, each group paved their own way, in a way of like, you know, they paved way for like individually, not, you know, as a group for the next group. Not that one, as like individually, like, you know, they paved way for like each other, you know, to be motivated to work hard in the group. So that's what I meant by that, you know. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, you know, I'll see you guys next time when I drop another reaction.